This is valuable because non-smelly babies are the most loved. Facts. Turtleneck wants to know if BB can be trusted with it, so she pulls a Zemo and frames him for murder. Hi, my name's Calamity, and I am not making this up. This is not a joke. You may not know me well yet, but you should know that I'm naturally drawn to three things. Super old nostalgic media that no one cares about, and acting as a contrarian for things people hate. I seem to avoid popular media religiously, either on purpose or unknowingly. For example, I fell asleep during the first episode of Stranger Things and never watched it again. Every time someone annoyingly posts about it, I grow to detest the show even more. But I digress. DreamWorks appears to be best friends with Netflix at the moment, simply distributing shows. But take a look at this pattern. These shows are based on films that aren't necessarily everyone's favorites. From underrated, to middle of the road, to I hope you burn in heck, DreamWorks is trying to redeem itself by using their shows to correct the flaws in their films. People said Turbo was a by-the-book, boring comedy with no character interest, but Turbo Fast is an absurdist humor, character-driven, sitcom-style situational comedy.
Fortune telling? You just tried to trade us poop. How dumb you think we are?
To be honest, I've only heard good things about the Captain Underpants film. I love Captain Underpants, but I read the book and watched the show before seeing the movie. My only complaint is that there's celebrity actors that play young children, but they fixed that in the show, so.
What was that?
I don't know. I honestly didn't think that would happen.
Where'd everyone go? It's Taco Tuesday. Oh, right, the bathroom.
Puss in Boots received mixed reviews, with some claiming that it had plot-focusing issues, too much backstory, and too little adventure, and that it was more plain than fantasy due to its source material being Shrek. But I was pleasantly surprised by the show. Yes, this is a tangent, but it's because Puss in Boots 2 is coming out in about 4 months, and I think it'll resurrect a fandom, much like Lightyear did for Toy Story and Buzz X Woody fans. I'm not judging. I think it's a little goofy, but I can see it, and I have weirder OTPs anyway. Skip to the next chapter if you only want to hear about Boss Baby. Anywho, Puss in Boots, the show, is a serialized, serious show about Puss who snuck into a town to steal treasure, but instead stole a magical force field that protected the town from monsters. Puss is now morally obligated to protect the city from monsters while on missions to obtain another force field. There's also some mystery as to why there is a force field here, and who built it. It's really 6 seasons of slow lore drip, action, and romance. Dulcinea, the orphanage's caretaker, is the new kitty.
Lying is not right, Monsieur Spread. If you stick to what is true, happiness will come to you.
Honestly, she has a Mary Sue written all over her, but psych ninja, you thought. She's not secretly enraged like Unikitty, but it's kind of like a Nindo. Super sweet and nice, but there are moments of weakness or anger. Just layers.
You did nothing! You are a rude and dishonest person, and I don't like you!
Like an ogre.
I have had it with you, lady! You are nothing but a big bully!
Or an onion. Both Puss and Dulcinea are cats, and Puss is flirting in episode 1, so it's a matter of when, rather than if, they get together. But it's the way they come into that conclusion and some of the decisions they make that makes it special. There are fantasy creatures, magic, and even some multiverse travel in the show. And they handled that better than Doctor Strange 2, and it came out in 2018. Doctor Strange 2 is sad, and so is Phase 4, but that's for another day, hint hint. So if you skipped the Puss in Boots bit, shame on you, but it's understandable, and if you didn't, I hope you're interested in the show. In any case, we've heard that DreamWorks can turn its worst movies into good shows, great shows, and even masterpieces. But what about the worst of the worst? Boss Baby. Let me just get right to the point. The Boss Baby show is fantastic. It's silly, serious, and even made me cry before. It solves every problem that the movie created. I can't go into all 4 seasons and 20 hours of content episode by episode, so I'll break it down this way. Plots, characters, other ideas like comedy, voice acting, animation, etc., without spoilers, and then I'll reveal the one plot line that elevates this show from good to great, with spoilers. Are you ready? No? Let's get started. The first surprise is that the show is fully serialized, with very few filler episodes, and even those contain story nuggets. The main plot runs through each season. Each season features a villain attempting to steal baby love and ruin their well-being. Cats, elderly people, dogs, baby toys, and baby shows are all topics covered. Typically introduced in the first episode, it reveals pieces of their plans, Boss Baby's company's counter-planning, the success and foiling of those plans. The other 2 overarching plots are for Boss Baby, nicknamed BB, and Ted, the brother, if you didn't remember. These character development plots can last a few key episodes, a season, or even the entire series. For BB, the conflicts are very typical of someone who's both a baby and a businessman.
I clawed my way to the top. Now I show Baby Corp what a real CEO looks like.
How to balance work and family life, the value of connecting with family and with friends, and how to avoid burnout. Ted, on the other hand, learns a little bit about business, but also how important it is to cherish being a kid.
This is the most freedom you'll ever have. You get to choose who you are.
He learns to be independent of his smart little brother, and he has plots that simply show him dealing with normal kid stuff like school or friends. Next up is characters. There's not a lot more to say about BB and Ted. They're kind of boiled down to their plots. BB isn't always the most likable character because he's hardwired for business, and it takes him a while to break out of that habit. He makes a lot of business decisions that are bad for family and end up hurting some characters, which is where Ted comes in. Ted is just a regular kid, so BB brings him along on missions, not only to teach him about business, but also to get his super unique perspective.
Why do his fantasies change so much then? Sometimes there's a style, sometimes there isn't, and we can't figure out what's real and what's not.
Another criticism aimed at the film was that Ted's role as the storyteller. He is shown to have an overactive imagination, making it difficult for the audience to determine what was real and what wasn't. This is addressed in the show by changing the style from 3D to 2D and dialogue to indicate when a fantasy sequence begins and ends. The brothers' parents have also greatly improved. We can't forget their dismissiveness, neglect, and overall poor parenting skills. They abandon their children at the airport.
No.
Mom! Dad! Stop!
This time, the parents actually care for their children, as evidenced by them taking them on fun trips, feeding and changing BB, and watching over their children. Sometimes. There are even a few episodes where they can shine, like one interesting doctor episode where they wonder why BB hasn't grown in over 3 months.
I think he's been eating okay. Seems like he always has a bottle of formula in his mouth. Hang on, let me check. Does he have a fever?
98.7? Nope. 0.6. We're good.
No fever. Maybe a food allergy. Does he have a rash? Tummy tenderness? Abnormal diaper odor?
He's blinking a lot. Is it pink eye? Red eye? Sock eye? I'm going to keep shouting ideas until someone gives me answers!
Those babies who attended the cookie meetings also appear as main characters. Jimbo, the big baby, and Stacy, the girl baby, accompany BB on missions. The triplets are not on the team, but they're recurring office characters. They aren't seen that often, but they're fully comic reliefs.
It's the doomsday scenario. We got a small army of scooter buskies. Did we ever come up with a plan for that?
Sort of, but I don't think it got any farther than we're all going to die! I'm in denial! Doopty doopty doopity doo, doopty doopty doopity da.
That scene lives rent-free in my head. Stacy is a bit more fleshed out. In addition to being almost as intelligent as BB and doing more of the physical, agile tasks, she's also very scary and morally challenged. She is frequently portrayed and referred to as a psychopath who was one wrong move away from murder on multiple occasions.
Don't you think my skills are better suited to, consult the consultant? Drop him in the woods and hunt him.
The only reason she isn't considered an enemy of the state is that she works for Baby Corps and is an asset to them.
Don't ever cross me!
Jimbo is unchanged. He's the cliché dumb muscle.
There. I believe that's every breakable in the house.
Jimbo Smash?
Jimbo Smash, good.
That concludes the main and secondary mains. As I mentioned in the plot, there's usually one villain per season. I can't say much about character traits because spoilers, but I can briefly mention their looks. Right now, I'll show you the Season 1 villain, because he's introduced in the first episode. Sort of. Which I will explain later. He's dressed nicely. His teeth have sharp points that would make any early 2000s DeviantArt OC mess their pants. His eyes have animal-like pupils, and his hair is stuck up at 2 points. Aside from Bill Cipher, what do you think he's based on? Did you think cat? Because it's cat. Cats rob babies of their love, so this guy, who was raised by cats, is their dedicated spokesperson. If his design isn't the most appealing aspect, his voice is.
Oh, silly. Of course not. She's not dropping anywhere.
That is such a sweet accent. I was so taken by his design that I even made an edit about it. Yikes, that was old. Don't worry, I've improved slightly. And this edit gave birth to one of the funniest comment threads I've ever seen. I know, it's strange, but comedy isn't really present in the show. It's far more sophisticated than the film, with the exception of 2 episodes. One about how stinky and gross babies are, and one oddly wholesome episode about constipation. I'd say it's limited to 1 toilet joke per episode, which is a significant improvement. The majority of comedy in the episode, if any, is slapstick, which I don't find particularly funny, but there are constant one-liners and sentence exchange punchlines. Not everyone makes me laugh, but every now and again, there's a sentence that catches me off guard.
And that's how you eviscerate a goat with a toy block.
He's got a sweater on. Animals in people clothes really freak me out, man. It's wrong. That's in the Bible.
Boss, what do we do?
I have an idea.
Ow.
Vengeance! That felt good. Thanks for waiting.
Down, baby, down! We're trying to feed the hamburger!
The animation is actually really good. Honestly, at times, it's only a slight disprovement from the movie. Some scenes made me think they were screenshots from it. The staging is pretty generic, though. Nothing stands out. And there's no scenes I would call pretty. The voice acting is generic, but BB in general tricked me the entire time. I watched the show twice and never noticed that BB's voice actor was an Alec Baldwin impersonator. This
It's not where it's been. It's where it will take you.
isn't the same voice as this.
Wouldn't be much fun if you played by yourself.
JP Carlack, you are fine. Wait, I mean, you do a fine job of voice acting. There are several new characters they add to the story, including grandparents, Ted's best friend, the gateways between non-babies and babies, the Preeks, who are perfectly portrayed as Little Demon, and all their actors do a good job as well. The last thing is representation. There isn't much of it, so let's go on a brief tangent. Okay, shh, this isn't really tangent time, but I just finished watching Camp Cretaceous on Netflix and utterly hate it. And I also love it. I know, it's difficult to explain, and I'm planning on making a video about it soon, but I just have to gush about the gay. They have girls, I say. Girlfriends! Unfortunately, it's only canon for a few episodes, but just look at them. Puppy love. I'm sorry, I had to do that because I can't obsess in my little LGBT phobic bubble I have. Anyways, Netflix doesn't just give queer representation to popular kids shows. Even forgotten, thrown away kids shows get crumbs. Is Boss Baby included in this category? Maybe. It's heavily implied, and if you blink, you'll miss it. Take a look at this scene.
All right! Lunch date just got paid for by Channel 8, baby!
Boyfriends, Your Honor? Anyway, that's all there is in the queer department. There's a lot of diversity in terms of appearance and sound. Many different body types are shown and is never mocked, and there are plenty of different voices and accents.
I am a metal D, which means I value class and, most of all, discretion.
Your cubicle is a duty factory!
She says she loves her mum and pop very much.
It's nice. It makes me, Aggie, where's your will to thrive?
Joy, I'm sorry. I never stopped to think that this is probably harder for you than for any of us.
Oh, are you about to blow? Well, if it's going to come out down south, at least you know where to go. Oh, my fancy goodness, I am!
High five!
Kidding!
This one is me, and this one is my twin brother, bored baby hermano menor. Hola, mi hermano. Hola, mi hermano. Let us do business together.
How are you feeling today? Grumpy.
Oh no! Whose love for babies is the pumping heart of our television program. We are not your competition. We hope only to be your
friends. Marisol Lopez Lugo, are you ready for a super fun and responsible awesome night?
Lots of different skin tones, even among the main and secondary characters. Wow, you say? Calamity, this sounds like such a good show. Is there any particular way I should watch it? And I respond, it is. And you can call me CJ if you want. I know Calamity is a mouthful, like me. But yes, I do have some viewing recommendations. Do not watch episode 1. I call episode 1 the pilot because it is. But it still has some of that movie stink on it. Vomit, farts, bad jokes, and a confusing plot. Start with episode 2, which sheds all of those bad habits and kicks off season 1's villain arc. And remember that this kid's name is Scooter Busky, and he's the world's worst baby. I know that was a lot, but now it's time for the big reveal. The story arc that made me realize the show was special. Spoilers ahead, and we're now at 2,300 words. We'll be discussing the story of Mega Fat CEO Baby. Boss Baby's boss. Dun dun dun! They call him Mega Fat because MF is a bad abbreviation, but you better believe I'm gonna call him that. Throughout the first season, BB is constantly annoyed by MF, who makes up various challenges and assignments for BB in order to get him fired.
If I catch you working sick, you're fired. And if your team fails without you, you're also fired. What?
It never works, much to MF's frustration though. They have a relationship similar to Retsuko and Ton, and as you'll see later, Mr. Pigman and MF both have layers. Like an ogre. The villain for season 1 is Crazy Catman Bootsy Calico, who finally completes his evil plan to make people hate babies and love cats in the second to last episode. He's pretty straightforward, though he has a tragic backstory.
I'll tell you a story. Of course I can. Babies love silly stories.
He was raised by cats, and one day there was a popular poster that showed a cat hanging from a tree that said, "Hang in there." The cat in the picture was his mother, and it embarrassed him and his family. Boo-hoo. This poster concept is connected to MF and BB's secret past relationship, but more on that later. He infiltrates Baby Corp by using a pacifier stolen from a cat from one of BB's employees. Magnus, MF's endlessly screaming Russian assistant and yes man, then plays a video of MF making a deal with Bootsy.
I don't care about Baby Corp. Help me ruin Boss Baby, and you can keep it. Deal.
Who? Magnus! I asked you to make those recordings strictly in case I came up with fresh new rhymes for the Ha Ha You're Fired song! I am a baby of conscience.
MF is promptly fired and sent to the pit of fired babies, which is not what you think it is. It's a place where fired office babies learn to be normal babies and are adopted by parents. As season 2 begins, BB is looking forward to a newly opened position as CEO, but is surprised when a new baby, Turtleneck Superstar CEO baby, has been positioned instead. He isn't boss because Bootsy was able to breach the company due to his ignorance of his employee befriending the enemy.
Jimbo, stop that.
I can't help it, he's so soft!
Scramble and regroup!
He's still promoted because he has experience in both office and field. He's given the special job of guarding a special serum that can make anyone or anything stinkless. This is valuable because non-smelly babies are the most loved. Facts. Turtleneck wants to know if BB can be trusted with it, so she pulls a Zemo and frames him for murder. For leaking the serum secret. What does this have to do with MF? He was the closest to BB before Tim, so he's been temporarily taken out of the fire pit to follow BB and find evidence.
Anybody snap! Rewind! It's a comeback! Hello! I miss everybody! Mwah! Mwah! Mwah!
At every turn, MF is known to torment BB, but at the end of the day, when Turtleneck comes to fire him, MF tells her that he found no evidence and that BB is innocent.
You slipped a tippy-top secret to Puppyco, dibble-dabbled with computer files to make an underling look guilty, and all this shenaniganing was just to test if Boss Baby plays well with others?
Yes.
Ooh-wee, new CEO lady, you are even more twisted than I was. And I love it! Call me Magnus, let's bounce!
BB and MF appear to be on neutral terms, and MF is quickly returned to the fire pit. Now I'm gonna spoil season 2 as a segue, so I'll do it quickly. Turtleneck Baby is captured by the old people's leader as a symbol of going on the offensive, because BB started an old people war. Forgot to mention that. He and his team go to save Turtleneck, but it turns out that she is also an old person, and she's dating the old person's leader. Gross. The old couple intended to play a special song that would make every baby stinky, but BB and the others intervened, and the old couple's plan was foiled. Team Rocket blasting off again. BB is once excited that CEO position is up for grabs, but when he's called in for news, it turns out that he was fired. Because yes, he solves all these problems in the company, but he also causes them. And BB is now jobless to begin season 3. After being fired, a depressed BB decides to give his life a new meaning by joining a baby playgroup with a new mother in town. The mother is the newscaster who was followed around by that cameraman I mentioned earlier. And the child is no other than MF. BB is paranoid and angry at first, but MF keeps extending his hand in friendship. Let's go back to what I said earlier. MF and BB have history, and I'm gonna tell you about it right now. Before BB was adopted, he was the boss of an unnamed baby department, which I'm guessing is advertising? He's looking for a new poster to advertise babies, so he approaches a random intern for help.
I'm surrounded by amateurs. I could get better ideas from some mail department intern. You, mail baby, poster idea, go!
Me?
MF is that intern, and his idea is so good that BB takes him under his wing like a son. The whole age thing is crazy, considering the age mentally but not physically. And some people go crazy with this idea. I might have to make a different video about that. BB teaches MF the ins and out of the office, and MF draws up the best baby boosting love poster idea. A cat hanging from a tree saying hang in there. It makes cats look stupid, and babies... babies better. Because a cat is the focus, BB suggests that changing it to a baby will increase baby love more. He shows the baby poster to the higher-ups, but they don't like it because it makes babies look stupid. BB then lies, saying that MF was the one who came up with the idea, and that he created the cat version. That was MF's villain origin story. Season 1, Episode 8. Nowadays, it seems that MF's devious behavior has been restricted by a new toy company called Babizi. It's a high-tech toy company that looks after your baby, keeps them safe, and entertains them so that the parents can relax. BB is hesitant to play with these toys, but Ted convinces him that he shouldn't.
No! What the heck are you doing?
I don't really know. I've been a little lost, having kind of an identity crisis.
You're a baby!
He shouldn't be hypnotized by some high-tech toy, but rather enjoy being a baby, socializing with other babies, eating, sleeping, all that jazz. The toy is dropped on the floor and malfunctions, resulting in a slew of dangerous situations from which Ted has to save all the babies from. BB notices that robots may not be the best caregivers, and that babies are watched and controlled like in a jail. He calls his old office and informs him that Babizi is lowering baby happiness, but parents are enjoying not watching their children, so baby love is increasing. BB decides to gather all the playgroup babies and form a ragtag team to impress Baby Corp. MF agrees to help, but recognizes that BB is simply dealing with the 5 stages of grief associated from losing his job. And he constantly promotes his new mantra of peace.
I just want you to know that I'm here for you on this journey.
Thank you.
And I'm also here for you on this journey.
Here we go.
Lucky for you, I have been there and also have done that. So you got you a spiritual Sherpa.
Don't need a Sherpa.
Who will do 100% at your service, whatever it takes to complete your journey to the summit of Mount Boss Baby.
Throughout the season, the team practices to improve, and BB begins to learn about real babies and suspects that Baby Corp may be flawed. Baby love is high, but the babies themselves are unhappy. BB must stop Babizi at all costs, even though Baby Corp is attempting to stop him.
What kind of prison is this fun?
One where they don't want you to realize you're in prison. Huh. Well played, Babizi.
BB must stop Babizi at all costs, even though Baby Corp is attempting to stop him, because parents won't love babies as much if they have to take care of them. Sad but true. Hey, isn't this MF's story? Don't worry, it all comes back to him. This season, MF has been a pillar of strength and sound advice to BB, a newly changed baby who just wants to help an old friend. But in Season 3, Episode 8, Puppy Party, the team needs to get tough for the first time. So BB summons that old MF jerk spirit to play. Because the puppies are old enemies who lost to BB, their leader, Bug, incites a full-fledged baby puppy fight. MF is getting his butt kicked because of his new pacifism, so BB says it's okay for him to let loose every once in a while.
What are you doing?
Fighting this puppy by challenging its preconceptions about...
This is a dog fight. They understand alpha dominance, not emotional nuance.
But I'm a good baby now!
You know how I said sometimes you gotta forget about being a good baby? This is one of those times!
Bug suggests a one-on-one. The person who puts the collar of shame on their enemy wins. So BB tells MF that he's in charge of the group while he's fighting. But as a newly reawakened naughty boy, that may not be the best idea.
You can count on me to not listen to you because I'm naughty again and rules are lame. Wah!
When the two fighters are both too tired to fight, a baby appears to tell BB that MF is out of control.
Yes! Serve me! Fetch me treats! Chop and slobber on all who oppose me, for I am your pack leader! Alpha dominance!
Bug tries to stop him by putting on the collar of shame, but MF is just too naughty. He goes into full villain mode and chases BB and Bug away. But don't worry, they have a plan. Bug comes back to MF and annoys the heck out of him. Pulls his clothes, barks, looks at his face, and MF's anger slowly grows. As it does, Phoebe cries to get all the parents to look that way. All of MF's tolerance drains, and he smacks Bug to the ground, to the disappointment of his mother. MF snaps out of it, finally humiliated that his mother saw his old self. Phoebe apologizes for pushing him over the edge, and MF says,
I was already falling.
before being escorted away. Dang. That's not the deepest line in film history, but it hits home. Hard. The following episode begins with the dramatization of the season 1 finale, in which MF is fired. This is a flashback episode. As I previously stated, he was sent to the firing pit, where no babies are set on fire. When babies are fired from Baby Corps, they're given 6 months of their super smart baby formula and sent to a camp where they learn how to be normal babies in order to be adopted by people or families.
Welcome to Itty Bitty Cuties Baby and Family Resource Center. What do they get you for?
MF doesn't care about these lovey-dovey feelings. All he wants is revenge on BB, blaming him for his demotion.
Speak your truth, man. Who are you on the inside?
I'm a hot-blooded baby bent on cold vengeance against Boss Baby. Ya dig?
Every class, every waking moment is spent plotting the ways to strike back against BB, from fighting to murder. Every week at the camp, letters come in for babies who graduate the learning program, and it shows who their family will be. MF opens the letter and it says that he failed. He's very happy that he did, but then something interesting happens.
I'm a certified naughty boy.
Martha, the newscaster, bursts into the camp, where it's revealed that it's an adoption center. It has adult employees, but is secretly run by Baby Corps.
Ah, that's Joshua, our baby/real-world relations attaché, which is a fancy term for babysitter who has no idea he works for Baby Corp.
Martha says she's looking for the inside scoop about the camp not being up to code and demands answers. MF is taken back by her fiery passion.
I was talking about that no-nonsense news lady with that unique sophistication reserved for a woman whose hair is larger than her head.
The employee shows that the codes are up to date, but mentions that Martha could adopt while she was in town. Martha says that she hates babies, but as she's about to leave, MF trips the cameraman, causing Martha to laugh and pay MF a small compliment.
You're a little devil booger, aren't ya?
Now that that's out of the way, MF can return to his revenge ramrod. First we see MF set a trap for BB, a reconstruction of a scene from Season 2. The trap is destroyed, and BB remarks how strange the trap's remains look. I thought this was a retcon, but it was actually in the original episode, so they've been working on this idea for a while now.
Simmons! Where are you? Simmons! Simmons!
Me! Me! Why are you looking for Whoa!
Weird spot for a hole.
Simmons, no!
Trees! Sidewalks! I love outside!
Back at camp, MF has shown his possible future. The family that's been picked out for him after he graduates from Good Baby Camp. But then, Martha burst in again.
Marsha Crinkle here, following a tip that the blankets used to keep the tots toasty here at Itty Bitties are filled with used staples instead of regular blanket stuffing.
She explains that she heard another rumor about the camp, but after double checking, it turns out to be false. They leave while Martha and MF exchange glances. MF seeks to exact revenge on BB yet again, and is depicted writing him a secret threat note. Again, this is a Season 2 scene, during the Old People War saga, so BB assumed the note was from the old people.
He was all alone. He was all alone.
Ah! What the?
Is that a note?
MF returns to camp, complains at lunch, and then, take a guess who storms in.
Poison, rotten food being served to puny, helpless babies?
With another excuse, Martha swears to get the inside scoop on the daycare, to no avail. This time it's bad food, so she steals MF's. It's actually quite tasty, and Martha compensates by giving MF a candy bar. On the way out, the cameraman implies that Martha isn't only here for the news, which she denies.
Way too busy for a baby. If that's what you were implying.
Magnus, MF's former assistant, pays a visit to see how MF is doing. Magnus reminds him of his family and assures him that it's never too late to be a good baby. After experiencing how nice Martha seems, MF decides to learn how to be a good baby.
Breathe! I'm pretty dang good at breathing already. It's why I'm not dead right now.
In!
Fine.
He starts classes, but is called into action to track down BB and locate evidence of him exposing the serum secret. Yes, it returns to another Season 2 episode, but this time from MF's point of view.
By who? It's ridiculous, cray-cray! By who? It's ridiculous, cray-cray!
Can we do some donuts?
It shows the moment he realized BB was innocent. I'll let MF explain it to you.
Boss Baby claims he was set up, and at first I was like, sure you were, buddy, wink wink liar, nobody could have done that, come on! But there is someone who could have. His new CEO.
This alone proves nothing!
I know. But back there, hanging out of that car window while throttling the bejeebers out of my most hated foe, I realized one other thing. As annoying as Boss Baby is, he would never betray Baby Corp.
MF establishes BB's innocence and blah blah blah, he's returned to camp. MF learns to be a good baby there and eventually graduates, where the day has come for him to meet the family that was set up for him. He tries to hit it off with them, but guess who walks in? It was Martha all along. When Martha sees MF with the family, she flees, so MF bites the man of the family and goes after Martha, while simultaneously sending another of the adoptees to the potential family. Martha is eager to adopt MF, but the family man complains about how difficult it is to deal with babies.
Man alive, how does someone that small cause so much pain and difficulty?
Wow, real nice. Martha flees again, and the family leaves with the preschooler, tossing a pamphlet for Babizi, making baby raising easy, because they don't need it. MF notices the pamphlet and decides to show Martha how simple it could be to raise a child.
I'm Marsha Crinkle, and I'm Cuckoo Bananas.
No! She notices it and returns to adopt MF. She hopes Babizi will help her become a better mother, but MF must do one thing for her. Pledge to be a good, easy baby forever. Yeah, making kids promise their parents things usually doesn't end well. That's my emotional trauma speaking, but it's a fairly nice moment anyway. The episode concludes with a narration by MF himself, completing the circle.
From that moment, I have kept that promise to my mommy lady. And you know what? I actually enjoy being a good boy baby. It makes her feel good, and that makes me feel good. So why in the how come heck am I about to blow all these good vibes by headbutting this puppy? Yeah, too late, my body is doing it!
Baby, no!
Oops.
Again, not the most profound message, but this is when I fell in love with the show. How they tied everything together without retconning a thing or making it feel rushed. But when was the moment I cried? I'm working on that. The following episode jumps ahead to Halloween. Oh, just a second off script here. I'm recording this on October 25th, and I know I'm not going to get this done by Halloween, so, happy Halloween! Maybe you'll be watching this next year. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, MF is ungrounded, and since it's a holiday where kids and babies can roam freely, BB and his gang have decided that tonight is the time to bring down Babizi. Ted comes along to distract the babysitter so the babies can sneak over to Babizi, but he's hesitant to because he has a crush on her.
Oh, you like trick and treat? Or treat or it's either. What's your favorite candy? Rainbow rope suckers. That's what mine is.
Really? Mine too. That's so funny.
I'll get ready the babies.
MF decides to stay with Ted and the babysitter, His peacemaking qualities returning, and he attempts to play matchmaker.
Tell her you're dressed as garbage because you want her to take you out.
Ew! Focus on candy.
Baby's strategy for defeating Babisi is to reveal the great secret. When he reveals himself to be a talking baby, adults have been known to go insane, melting their brains. He reveals the secret to the Babisi CEO, but he's so greedy that he couldn't give a crap. Yeah, cool. Doesn't matter if babies can talk or not. They still do baby things, and their parents will still buy his products and be lazy.
You're playing patty cake? Well, I'm playing 5-dimensional chess. Length, width, depth, time, length. You already said length.
We fast forward to the next day. Bibi awakens to find his room filled with Babisi everything. And though it's not stated, I assume the babies were tired from their mission and then they went to sleep and then the CEO phoned all their parents. I don't know. We're almost there, guys. I swear this circles back to MF. This final episode begins by demonstrating the polarization generated by Babisi. Babies are unhappy because their creativity and fun have been drained, but parents are overjoyed because they can just relax while all of the devices take care of their children. This means that Baby Corp is happy since Baby Love is up, but they're too focused on numbers to see how miserable their subjects are. BB noticed, but with Babisi breathing down his neck, he couldn't come up with another plan, and now he's brainwashed. All hope is lost. Suddenly, a Baby Corps employee checks the figures and notices that Baby Love numbers aren't gonna keep going up forever, but they're gonna plummet lower than ever soon. Stacy is dispatched to get BB, and the worker tells him what's going on. However, MF is accidentally a witness to this, and because it's too secret, he's being held hostage.
Imagine that's Marsha Crinkle's love for you.
I would prefer not to, thank you.
We don't stop Babisi, that crash is coming. The only question that matters is, don't you believe she'll still love you without Babisi?
Probably?
Now the team must figure out how to stop Babisi, booster of baby love, but also its destroyer. I realize this is confusing. They decide to ruin all Babisi gadgets, causing parents to complain and receive free replacements, stealing money from the greedy businessman. The CEO discovers this and makes new gadgets that are programmed to murder the babies that slipped into his office on Halloween, which is just a little extreme. Of course, the infants triumph over the evil toys, but Babisi CEO has one more surprise up his sleeve.
Oh, gruesome. I just wanted to have a chinwag.
Happy.
Remember when BB revealed the big secret? It turns out that the security cameras were set up that time. It would be a pity if the footage was shown to the baby's parents. The CEO agrees not to show the tape to anyone if BB explains everything about he and some of the others can talk.
I'll leave your family and your wee playmates alone forever. All you have to do is muscle up and meet me face to face.
I don't have to say out loud that's a terrible idea, right? I assume that's what we were all thinking, but then nobody said anything and it got weird.
Offer accepted.
So BB gets into the car with the stranger, which isn't weird at all. He learns about the super smart juice and how babies only get 6 months of it after they're fired. The CEO reveals he wants to use BB's 6 months of brilliance in order to create a new school. If he shows the world how smart BB is, parents will be throwing money at him just to get their children signed up. BB declines the offer.
Here's the thing, Chief. I don't need to know the trick, because I know it's behind it. Nothing but plain, ordinary fear.
No, it isn't.
It's your whole business model. You make parents afraid their babies will get hurt, or they won't grow up smart enough, or a million other fears. You claim your products will fix it all, but you can't really. Because babies aren't easy. They're unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. And the only thing any of us can do is square up, look our fears in the eyes, and tell them, you don't get to run my life.
The car comes to a halt at the construction site of the Smart Baby School. But it turns out BB's team had replaced the limo driver and was driving the car themselves. Where have I seen that before? The CEO sends more evil toys out on the babies, and while they're distracted, the CEO calls all of the babies' parents to show them the video.
Oh, hello. Maybe there's a clue in this tape I discovered.
The team is out of ideas, and as they're trying to figure something out, MF laughs.
Trying to think of...
Like a regular baby this time. BB insists that MF gets another formula, but he tells them that maybe he's happy being a regular baby, and that this might get everyone out of the mess.
I have an idea, but it means I have to turn into a normal baby. But it's okay. This was never your journey. It's mine.
BB and MF bond, and MF puts his plan into action. He rises from the hiding place, and as the parents notice, Martha runs to grab her baby, but things don't go perfectly as planned.
Oh, I'm so sorry I lost you and I'm a terrible mother, and just tell me you're okay!
Mama.
Mommy loves you so much! I love you more than I love everything in my whole world!
You can't entrust your children to technology. They require human, organic love. No parent is flawless. They'll make mistakes and learn from them. And no child is perfect. It's their defects that define them. This is a lovely lesson to learn, regardless of where you learn it. It's just funny that I learned it in a Boss Baby media. This scene made me cry because it was so touching, and it's a lesson I wish my parents had learned. With that, the other babies appear and are taken in by their parents. The CEO wants to show the tape to everyone, but they aren't interested because they're busy with their children. Now the question is, why are all these babies in an abandoned building site with a strange adult without their parents' knowledge?
Right, free products for everyone!
The CEO was in jail, MF is now a regular baby, and BB is even chosen CEO of Baby Corp. Check in to Season 4 to find out what happens next. That was the story of MF, the longest and most well-crafted arc of this show. We see him briefly in Season 4, but only as a, hey, here's what he's been up to. Just because that was the best story doesn't mean there aren't any other great ones. There's Stacy's love-hate connection with Brayden, the kid she's tried to kill several times. Ted has a friendship with his best friend, Danny. Ted and BB's grandparents have a season to shine. And don't forget the old person that looks like a baby that's dating the old person. Cringe. And the entire finale of the show itself made me cry. It's really nice and heartbreaking. But that's all there is to this video. I hope my insights piqued your curiosity enough for you to add it to your watch list. And also, get Dahmer out of your watch list. Like, seriously. There's a sequel show that takes place after the second movie, but the show came out before the second movie. I won't spoil the ending, but let's just say the second movie wouldn't have happened if it followed the storyline the show ended on. Don't go near it. I refuse to watch it. Unlike when I said I wouldn't watch Deep Blue Sea 2. I ended up watching it anyway, spoiler alert. But this time, I'm gonna keep my word. I had about 5 essays ready to go after the Deep Blue Sea one, and all I needed to do was record and edit them, but I promised myself that this would be my second video, so I put them all on hold to write this. It's October 3rd, 2022, and I started this piece on September 1st, 2022. Ooh. See you in the next video. Bye! That's a wrap, yo! That's the motherfucking outro! Woo!